Tibetan bowl. Allow the sound to resonate around and through you. Take a breath, relax, and settle into the peace of this sacred time together.
Was the prelude number 8 by Bach from the Well-Tempered Clavier.
Well, welcome, good morning to friends, members, visitors, those of you who are joining us this morning on Zoom. We welcome you here this morning. To the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River. We are an intentional community gathered around our mission to support each other's individual spiritual journeys and to inspire, inform, and support all who seek a more equal and just community. We're pleased all of you are here with us this morning. I'm Nancy Holland, your service leader, and I am very pleased to welcome our guest speaker this morning, Wekoye, who is a member of the Unitarian congregation in Annapolis. She's a UU chaplain and serves in the Annapolis area in a variety of places. Her background is both from Kenya and the US, and I think we're going to hear more about that. And her ministry is focused on fostering meaningful relationships within the global community, the heart of her work being kinship ties that bring us all together and the welcoming of all at the table so that we can learn with and from each other. She has degrees in communication, psychology, business administration, and completing programs in theology and leadership, and is a seminary student with our own Catherine Adams, I just learned. It seemed really fitting this morning with the topic of kinship and heirs. On Thursday afternoon, there was a dedication at the Kent Cultural Alliance building for Isaac Mason, an enslaved person who escaped from 101 Spring Street here in Chestertown back in 1846 and made his way via the Underground Railroad to freedom in Pennsylvania. Taught himself to read and write, became an educated man, contributed to his community, wrote his own autobiography of his experience of slavery. And talking about this ancestry and how we move through generations, Washington College students for 20 years have been working on documenting the house and the property where Isaac Mason, whose enslaved name was William Thompson, where he was enslaved and escaped from. And they have documented that, and the dedication this Thursday was of that building site, now the Kent County Cultural Alliance, a place of hope and arts and community, as being the slave property from which he escaped. And it has a designation from the National Park Service now as the escape site Underground Railroad Network destination. Kind of a mouthful. And I think in this particular time too, that the Park Service was able to designate this as a historic underground railway beginning spot was impressive. And again, and his family, there were 3 women from Isaac Mason's ancestors who were at the dedication. So it was very moving, and I think another great example right here in Chestertown of the history through generations and how current generations can make that past history alive and meaningful for us. So this morning we also welcome Michael at the piano. As always, thank you. John and Michael are our tech team this morning, and the other volunteers, as noted in your order of service, who make this Sunday and every Sunday possible. And we are grateful. Okay, announcements. We always need coffee hosts and greeters. Please sign up in the whiteboard in the lobby, and a reminder to purchase your tickets for the soup supper on Friday, December 12th at 5:30. Joy, I think, right, is going to, after service, Joy Kim will be selling the tickets. So it's a lovely event, and we hope everybody will come. And now, please join me as we light the chalice. The words are in your order of service by Kathy Romano. Come, let us enter this space with hope and community. Come, let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion, and courage. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space, present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space, mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and let us worship. And now, if you'll please rise, embody your spirit as we sing our first hymn, number 1010 in the green hymnal. Give thanks. We've been singing this a lot lately, so we should have this down pretty well. welcome Okoye to our pulpit for some opening words.
Thank you for this very first welcome to your congregation. It is beautiful to be here. I had a lovely drive from Annapolis. I believe that the trees change in acknowledgement of my October birthday as a special gift to me, so I enjoyed them all the way here. Thank you. And today, I brought with me words written for us by Mwalimu Monica Gitau, who is one of my spiritual directors. And she wrote, "Our ancestors are the custodians of our societal moral values, practices, traditions, and cultural heritage. They support us every day of our lives in everything that we do. They provide wisdom, spiritual knowledge, and boldness. The emotional strength, intuitive guidance act as our moral compass with the right directions and paths. We honor them always in our prayers, in our songs, in fellowships we hold together, in the names, the languages, cultures, and celebrations we hold as directed by them. We value our fellow humans as they are of worth regardless of race, color, faith, or origin. And today we acknowledge the ever-presence of our ancestors and the never-ending support that they give us. May it be so."
Thank you. And then please join us in a responsive reading in the Gray Hymnal, number 646. The larger circle. And if the group on my left over here begins, and then the response will be on the right, my right. The larger circle. We clasp the hands of those that go before us. And the hands of those who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms. And the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in dance. And the larger the circle of all creatures. Passing in and out of life, who also can dance. To a music so subtle and vast that no ears hear it. Except in fragments. And now he'll take the offering for the works and mission of this congregation. Please give generously to support our work here and in the community, for we are now the keepers of the flame.
This is Hungarian dance number 5 by Johannes Brahms.
now I welcome Wikoe back for a reading.
That was a beautiful musical selection. I just came back from Transylvania, and so the Hungarian dance took me back. Okay, this quote is by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi wa Thiong'o was a Kikuyu author who was imprisoned for writing in his native language of Kikuyu. And while he was in prison, he made the social justice and personal commitment that he would only from thereafter write in Kikuyu. And he wrote his first Kikuyu book on toilet paper from prison in Kenya. And this is a quote by him. Language as culture is mediating between me and my own self, between my own self and other selves, between me and nature. Language is mediating my very being. Okay, how is the sound everywhere? Okay. It's good to be with you. I'll start off this time with another quote, and this one from a wisdom text that some of us were taught in when we were younger in Christian faith traditions, and from which Unitarian Universalism draws as one of our sources of wisdom. This one comes from the Hebrew Bible, the book of Proverbs 27:19. And it says, as the water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. As the water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. What might our lives be reflecting? If we are really honest with ourselves, if we go and take inventory of our lives, what might they be reflecting? And might they be reflecting everything that was gifted to us by our ancestors? Now, ancestors come to us in many ways. They come to us through the womb which we swim in and sleep in before we breathe our first breath of oxygen. They come to us from the seed of our father. They also come to us from generations back, generations we might never have had any contact with, generations that migrated from one land to another land, that brought with them traditions. If we do a bit of anthropological investigation, we will see that our speech patterns, our eating patterns, our rituals and celebrations, the way we raise our children, even what we think about life, has history many generations ago, fragments passed down to us by ancestors, and then molded and shaped like clay into that which is our lives, that which reflects our ancestors and also reflects the spark of life added, whatever that kitu ingine, the ongeza, the extra that was added. And where does that addition come from? It comes from our communities, our neighbors, our education, the water we drink. I have lupus. Who here in this room has some kind of medical situation in their lives that they dance with? Hey, many of us. Okay. And today, lupus is a bit loud for me, and lupus is a disease that affects every part of the body, and today it's affecting my stomach. So if I need to take a break and go and spend some time praying to lupus, just understand. All of us have these things that come to us, right? And how we live our lives reflects our gratitude to all those ancestors, given and claimed. Kindly start the first slide for me. Today, I'm going to bring to you a photo album, my photo album. And I invite you, as each of you are watching it, to envision what your photo album would look like. If you were going to take a moment and pull out pictures of ancestors in your life, the ancestors that your life reflects, like it or not right now, by choice and not by choice, because many of the things we do are reflexive. How our hands look, how our faces look, we didn't get much of a say in that, and yet it reflects our ancestors. And I want to start us off, as we get into this, with another proverb, this one from a Chinese ancestry, that says to forget one's ancestors is to be a brook without a source, a tree without a root. To forget one's ancestors is to be a brook without a source and a tree without a root. We heard from Nancy today about an event that was honoring an ancestor of this land, an ancestor who worked this land and had to find freedom from the oppression of this land. When we forget our ancestors, ancestors of the land, ancestors of the blood, we are without our roots. African traditional spirituality, like many other wisdom traditions, tells us that our life is our theology. We don't need a lot of thought patterns, a lot of intellectual, in order to live our theology. Our theology is lived in canning our tomatoes, in harvesting something from the land. Our theology is lived in bathing our children, in taking care of our elders. Those daily moments, brushing our own teeth, that is our lived theology. That is the way that our life reflects our gratitude to our ancestors. Technology is disrespecting us today. We just keep going. So Ngugi wa Thiong'o, in 1977, was when he made that decision to shift from using English, the language of the colonizers, to express himself, to using the language of his soul, Kikuyu, in expressing himself. You know, I've also made a similar decision. I was raised with multiple English dialects. As you already probably know, there are many English dialects in the world because English has moved to every continent and many countries. It is the official language in many countries, and how it is expressed depends on the place you are at. In Scotland, it sounds different than the United Kingdom, sounds different than Australia, sounds different than America, and sounds different than Kenya, where English is one of the two official languages. So as a child raised in Africa, which if technology decides to cooperate, you'll get to see some photos, I was instructed in English in multiple dialects. And I continued to use multiple dialects for most of my life. This year, I made a decision, like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, to speak with the language of my soul in every setting that I am in, to honor my ancestors with the sounds of my voice. Who here has made a choice of which language to speak in which setting? Hey, hallelujah, we have arrived. Nimefika. Who has used language as a choice? Maybe, okay, in the back. Let me just walk to you. Which languages have you chosen to speak in?
For a brief while in Canada, I was French, even though the people I dealt with wanted to switch to English. As soon as they heard my French, I said, no, I want to practice my French, please. Honor you. Yeah. And so, I mean, for at least for that week or so, I did what you talked about.
Yes, that is language. But you know, we also use languages in other ways. Professional languages. Who has learned a language of medicine or of psychology or of science of some kind or other? Equestrian, yeah. Or a government. That's a whole other language. You speak in acronyms. You don't even have to put any other words there. You can have a full sentence of acronyms. So language is an important way that we mediate our knowledge, but also our culture. Okay, so we have arrived to slides. This is my family photo album. And you can see it is different photos. Let me tell you, it's very difficult to select which photos you will show people from a family photo album because there are so many and so many beloved people that are pictured there. And each time you pull out a photo, all the memories come flooding back and you sit there and it takes you hours to select photos. But here are the ones I selected. You can see me in the top there. On the bottom here, you see a picture of my community and family, one of the bigger pictures many people pictured. You'll see different mothers holding different babies, different children, different fathers, a baby there on the shoulders of someone. Here, one of my favorite activities was fetching fruit from a tree, and there I was collecting mapera, that is guava. Up there, you can see me with some of the community children, my brothers and sisters, in the beautiful land. Somehow like this, when I was driving here, I was reminded of growing up, just the open grass, the spaces where your soul can feel at home. Does anyone have any questions before we go to the next slide?
What time frame are we talking about?
This is 1986. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Are we able to up the audio? That's my Mother Mary. That is the woman who raised me, who cooked, who made sure that when I was sad, I had somewhere to go. Who are the mothers in your life? Who are the mothers in your life? I have been so blessed. I have more than 5 mothers. Mothers who have raised me when I was young, mothers who raise me right now, because we always need a mother to be there for us. Who do you honor? Who nurtured you? Who is your very breath in acknowledgement to? Who gave you life? Who are the mothers in your life? Can we go to the next slide, please? This is another one of my mothers. This is Mama Frida. You can see her in 1985. And then in 2024, she did not know I was coming. It had been 29 years since she saw me. The minute I got out of the car, she ran toward me with tears and with rejoicing. Who are the people in your life that if you saw them after 29 years, they would run to you? So happy that your life is continuing ahead in honor to the contributions that they made to nurturing you. Who are those people? Next slide. This one is a playing slide also. know we have discussion at the end, but I like to do things differently. So, who can tell me what your definition of home is?
It was difficult to hear that. Could you give us a little synopsis of what was going on?
Yes, thank you. So I was just speaking about home, and I was describing home as the place where we are in accountability to the people that we are with. Home is where we listen to our elders, and home is also where we bring up our children, our descendants, right? Home has a special connection to us. And home is something different than merely the place you are born. As you can see, my home is in many places, and I have obligations and responsibilities to many places. This understanding that I am in obligation to my ancestors to live each moment and each part of my day in gratitude to those ancestors is connected to home. It's connected to where I define as home. And for me, just as a spoiler alert, home is the entire world. So what is home to you?
Home can change. My home as a young person was, and that's the farm outside Norrisville, which has been taken over, remodeled, completely redone. Now I've been here 50 years, so I guess I'm home. So.
I've been here 50 years, so I guess I'm home. And in this community, right, in this congregation, I saw a hand here.
So I think of two things. One is the people that I feel comfortable with, in love with, exchange with those people. I particularly think of my husband and my two daughters. But the other part, and leave them out. The other part is like the space where I live. I'm super attached to my yard and the eagles that fly around my yard, and the deer or this fox that comes and eats my cat's food. So attached to them. They're part of my home.
Yes, space is part of our home. I came in and I saw this table and the place for the candles, and it felt like home to me. I've never been here before, but something about the shape, the way that it is, feels like home. Yeah. We have a quote by our UU ancestor Ralph Waldo Emerson, which says, if it's okay?
It's on its way out.
Is this better? Okay. And kindly, I meant to say this earlier, I need help from you. If at any point it's difficult to understand me, because of volume, because of dialect, because of whatever reason, kindly let me know, because although I'm very good at intuition, I'm a bit short of mind reading. And I need that feedback, okay? I give you the responsibility of being members of this family for today, that you speak up. Don't keep quiet if you cannot understand me, okay? Please. Okay. So one of our UU ancestors, Ralph Waldo Emerson, says, every book is a quotation, and every house is a quotation out of all forests and mines and stone quarries, and every man is a quotation from all of his ancestors. So this particular moment was of great significance to me. I was preaching for the first time in the congregation where I grew up, with people who brought me up, like Mama Mary, and with one of my brothers as the translator. It was a very special moment. And on this exact very stool, given to me by my mother Mary, and carried in a duffel bag on Kenya Airways all the way here. Okay, can we go to the next slide? I think it's the other direction. The rest of the slide deck is missing. So somehow we've had a complication. We'll go with it. So, no, he's okay. I've asked a question over and over, and now it's time for an answer. What is something you do in your life that is in honor to our ancestors? And it could be something that you have very much spent a lot of time looking to remove from your life, because we also inherit things from our ancestors that we spend a lot of time removing, successfully and unsuccessfully. So it could be that one. It could also be something that you cherish, or it could be something that you do that had nothing to do with something your ancestors gave you, but you do it in honor to them. For example, people come here to Unitarian Universalism to bring forward their spirituality and faith in community. Many of us do not have ancestors who are Unitarian Universalists, and yet we are in honor to our ancestors by coming here, right? So who can offer to me something that you do in your theology? Oh, hey, here are some of the rest of them. We have arrived. And the number 5 is my best number. But you see, then it wants to go back again. Maybe we can just not do the, maybe we cannot do the slideshow and just keep it on the PowerPoint view and just select each slide one by one. Because I think there is a script problem on the back end. You know, me and technology, we are not very much friends. Okay, but while he's working on technology again, what is something somebody can tell me in your lived life, your lived theology?
I think, like many of us, food is a very, very important part of honoring ancestors, especially at holiday times, but often every day we cherish the food that we were given as children in love from our parents, and we reproduce that food and give it to others.
Yes, and my Polish ancestors gave me pink pickled eggs. Who's eaten pink pickled eggs? My children turned their nose up at it. And pierogi, yes. And glumpki, the cabbage, filled cabbage, yeah, cabbage roll.
I have a ancestor to thank for. Very grateful. My grandfather had an uncle, and he had no children of his own, but he was a rich man. So he gave away his money to his nephews. And my grandfather was a nephew of his. So my grandfather is highly thankful for him. Now, I am very thankful for all this, because my grandfather then was very smart, and he invested his money properly, and he gave his children, each a house, including my father. But my father's brothers, they all did very well, except my own father. So you see how thankful I can be. As my uncle gives the money to his grandfather, my grandfather became rich, and he himself invested properly to give money to his children. But my father blew it all his brothers did extremely well.
So as every family story, they are the joys and they are the things that we don't quite understand, but we hold a lot of grace for it. Thank you. Okay, one more, and then we're going to keep them for the discussion at the end, okay?
Yeah, I just want to be very grateful to both of my parents for the love of the water. I grew up spending every summer on boats and swimming, and it's lasted the rest of my life.
These lasting gifts. Mine was a gift of love of music, and I gave it to my kids, and they sing like angels. Okay, let us continue with my slides if possible. What's going on? These, what we have just had, are each ways that we celebrate culture. And celebrating culture is in fact celebrating our ancestors. It's acknowledging our ancestors. We heard from the gentleman about the way his grand uncle then supported members of the family, and that came down with a gift of a house. Hey, that's a very nice gift. Where I come from, it is often gift of land and house that are passed generation to generation. People know where they come from. They have roots. They can trace their roots. One of the challenges of the community in the United States is oftentimes people cannot go back in their roots. They can say something general, or I come from Germany, or I come from wherever. But most of the people who look like me in the United States, who have a white skin, come from so varied an ancestry and don't even know any longer where that ancestry comes from. And that leaves us a tree without a root. And so some of us have taken the time to go back and do 23andMe or some other kind of thing to try and connect with our ancestry. But another way to do that is to connect with our spiritual ancestry. Who are the spiritual ancestors of our lives? Like Ralph Waldo Emerson. Going and understanding where the root of our spiritual tradition comes from helps to inform the values that we bring out into the world. The Bible is one of the Hebrew Bible is one of our sources of wisdom. And another verse from Proverbs, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That speaks both to those things we like and those things that we find challenging in our lives. It can be difficult to abandon the bad behavior that was passed down to us by our ancestors. And it can be difficult to put in also that dedication to the habits that we were taught to do properly, like the gentleman in the back who talked about investing in money. Sometimes we have to reach back several generations to find the good choices and values that we want to recreate and ground in our own lives. So we're going to do this slowly by slowly and hope for the best. Can we look at slide number 5 just by clicking on it? Okay, this is more family photo album. You'll see at the bottom a ritual. That's an initiation ritual. The young men who are featured at the center of the photo, they are about to be circumcised. And that is an initiation ritual. All of us have initiation rituals. Every culture has its way of initiation rituals. In the United States, it could be a high school graduation. You are turning 18, an 18th birthday. It could be, in the Jewish tradition, a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. Who has participated in some kind of initiation ritual in their life?
Well, certainly graduation. And marriage.
Marriage, yes.
When I was a kid, my family belonged to what would be now called a fundamentalist Christian church, and so the ritual that I went through was being baptized, fully immersed in a pool in front of the whole congregation.
So
the piano studio where I studied when I was in basically elementary school through high school. When a student graduated, they would play, last piece at the recital, and the teacher would usually mention, their accomplishments and what they had, done throughout the time they had studied.
So you see, we have 3 different kinds of rituals that were described. One based on education and marriage, community choices. Another one based on religion and the religious traditions passed down generationally. That tradition of being immersed in water has a biblical origin. So that is a tradition that comes from many ancestors ago. And then a tradition that I will say also comes from home, which is where when you are initiated, you sing, you dance, you bring something creative forward. If you look at that ritual there, the boys are playing drums and they are singing and dancing. That creative energy is seen as needed as part of the ritual process. And these rituals, they ground us to our ancestors. They are a way that we acknowledge the input of those ancestors in our lives. And as we continue forward, we remember that we have obligations to them. In the Christian tradition, if you are baptized, it means you have a certain obligation to live your faith. When you are married, you have a certain obligation to your community to be a citizen in a different kind of way as a married person than when you are a single person, to be a family person in a different kind of way. When you graduate high school, you take on obligations of adulthood in a different kind of way. And each of those connect us to our ancestors and guide us, give us a guidebook from our ancestors of what is expected of us in coming days. As Marilyn talked about, she's changed her religious tradition. And yet the obligation to live your faith remains the same, right? Just how that faith is lived and under which circumstances might look a bit different. That's that ongeza, the extra that we add in our own lifetimes as we acknowledge our ancestors. Can we click on slide 6? This is a beautiful thing. You see that guy there, Baba Mason? He used to carry me. That's me on his shoulders, by the way. And can we get a collective? Oh, I'm so cute, right? And we would go to rituals, and it would get very late at night, playing the drums, singing and dancing, and I would fall asleep, and Baba Mason would carry me home on his shoulders. Okay, so in 2024, when I was there in the church that you saw in that video a minute ago, we were singing and dancing, and Baba Mason came to me and picked me up. I will tell you, I think he's the only human being on planet Earth who has blanket permission to pick me up. The rest of you don't try, okay? But it was such a circle moment of coming back to the way that he had gifted into my life. Here I am coming, giving back to my community in a new way, living out my gratitude to my ancestors in a new way, in the way of an adult, in the way of a full woman, and yet he was still an elder who picked me right up. Can we go to 7? Now this one, because of the issues with tech, we are just going to appreciate the slide rather than play it. But let me tell you, he blessed me. He blessed me again, and he blessed me to go out into the world, to have strength, and to return back to my home and bring those gifts that I have gathered other places back home with me. Have you done it? Are you gathering your gifts and bringing them home to live out the life of your ancestors in your home? That's the place where it's the hardest to do. Where people know the secrets about us, it's the most difficult to live out our witness, to live out our spirituality, our faith. Can we go to slide 8? More family photo album. You can see cat and dog make an appearance because animals are also part of our ancestry. They give something to us. They teach us lessons. Horses teach us a certain kind of strength and peace and speed. Dogs teach us loyalty and to have grace for their stupid behavior. Right? Cats teach us what disdain looks like and what dedication looks like. but not of dogs. My cat disdains my dog the whole day long. And the dog will come up and say hi to her. She'll slap him, and he'll come back and say hi again. And slide number 9, you see all the many people in my life, different mothers, different fathers, grandparents, ancestors, so many. We are the culmination of so many ancestors. Do we walk with that level of dignity, with that level of grace, with that level of honor, of the number of people who are behind us lifting us up? We are royalty. We are the living of our ancestors. Do we carry that royalty with us in each choice that we make? Are you behaving royally, like a royal dignified person, or like a royal undignified person in traffic? Because we are always in gratitude for our ancestors. We never get an off time, and that is a critical difference between African theology and American Western theology, is this idea of bifurcation. There is no such thing as my personal life and my professional life and the time when I am supposed to be in my integrity and the time that I can just act and behave like the fool. There is no such thing in African theology. We are always at every moment in obligation to our ancestors. Slide 10, please. That was my initiation in 1995. That silly girl there did not know all the trouble life was going to bring to her, or how difficult it would be to be sent with $300 and a backpack to a foreign land to try to figure out her life at not even 17. But you know, I had the strength of all those people behind me. The strength of Brother Brown Nangabo, who is there holding my hand on one side, and on the other side I'm holding the hand of Grandmother Abigail. They walk with me still. Nangabo died from AIDS a few years after that photo. That was the last time I saw him. But I see him when he comes and guides me, when he is the joy behind my laughter. In times of sorrow, he brings me laughter. Each of our ancestors give us a gift. Can you name it? Can you name which gift came from which people? Pause for a second and look at your hand. It came from somewhere. Do you know which place your hand came from?
I have a layer thumb from my grandparents' layer.
You see, she names it. This one is I have a twisted finger here. It is from my mother Vinnie. Do I ever have a moment when I'm without my hands? No. And in 2024, I was blessed again by some of the same people who are in the photo there. The guy who you can see with the white shirt and the dark suit jacket, he's the same guy with the white pants and the dark suit jacket there. He has become a bishop. His name is Bishop Olala, a bishop that is an elder brother, father of mine. Can we go to slide 11? We're going to try the audio on this one. And if it crashes, it's okay because it's the last slide. It should, yeah, there we go. It seems like it's going to say no and give me an opportunity to just tell you. Okay. While he's working on that, I want to share with you my last quote that I'll share with you today. I learned today that another one of the ancestors, Alice Wong, who is an ancestor of the disability community, that she just joined her ancestors at the age of 51. She wrote a book that I found meaningful called The Year of the Tiger. And in that book, she says, the real gift any person can give is a web of connective tissue. If we love fiercely, our ancestors live among and speak to us through these incandescent filaments glowing from the warmth of memories. We are the living ancestors. Let us live our life every moment, every day, straightening your crown as the royalty that you are, the gift of your ancestors and the gift to your descendants.
It's not that I will answer that.
Just imagine it. You can imagine it. This is my ancestors, my living ancestors, telling me to go forth into all the world. And I offer the same blessing to all of you to go forth. Every action you do affects the whole world. So go forth from this your home, wherever it is your home, and be who you are meant to be. May it be so. Na iwe hivyo. Let us move into our discussion, yes? We have used it already? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. With our little technical difficulties, we've run a little over, so I want to honor people's time. But thank you so much. That was really thought-provoking and feeling. I think, fortunately, we're going to, well, maybe fortunately, we're going to skip the hymn, Woya Ya, because we don't sing that very well, even though it's lovely. But let me, okay, if you would do the closing words, and we'll move on there.
Thank you all for your grace of time. I have valued it tremendously. And we close with the words by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. We owe a very great debt of gratitude to those who remember the old ways to live and honor the earth, and yet we have ignored them, oppressed them. We must be grateful to those who remind us of our common bond, to see as God sees us, not just the physical form, but also the luminous soul that shines through us. Look into the eyes of your relatives, those distant cousins you have not seen in so many years, for whom your heart ached without even knowing. Greet each other again with the love and healing that comes with reunion, and know that in protecting their rights and their way of life, you protect the well-being of all of us, the future we share. For we are all, every one of us, precious members of the family of earth.
Wisdom and their trees. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen. Blessed be. We go forth, enjoy coffee, and we continue the conversation, hopefully, with Wokie in the lobby. Thank you so much.